Evening everyone, my name is Ritesh and I am pursuing the BCA and IT training by the Mr. BK Sinha sir, who is the very talented person, who is the director of the IMEX institutions of the RR city. Okay everyone, so we have to discuss about that who am I. And after all these things, I am just going to the preparing for my communication skills. Means I want to say you something that I want to improve my communication skill, so I have to choose one idea that I will daily make videos on the live, and then I will share on the YouTubes. So you can also observe my all these points, and whenever I will speak wrong, okay, at a time you should have to the point out. Okay everyone, so thank you for this. Okay, so let's start it. So first of all, I want to say you something that today I am just going to the choosing one topic, which one is the hard disk. Okay, means database, that what is the meaning of the database. Okay everyone, so here whenever we have to the given any topic, then we should have to the introduce, then you should have to elaborate mainly these points. That first is what is that point, what is that thing, means what is the database, and second point will be that what is the advantages of the database, and third point will be that what is the disadvantages of the database. That is a 3 point, and fourth point will be that where we can see all these things in the practical zones, means where we are going to use all these things. Okay, means 4 point we have to the point out, and fifth point will be that how is it work. Okay everyone, so these points, if we will elaborate about any topic, then we can say that our topic is clear. Okay, so let's start it. So first of all, we should have to understand that what is the meaning of the database. That is a hard disk, you can see also, but hard disk is what? Database. So database means what is the meaning of the database? We should have to understand about that. So database is what? So database is nothing. Database, here we have the two words that defining to the different meanings. We have the data and then we have the base. So data is defining to the data is what? Data is nothing. Whatever we are going to the see, whatever we are going to the observe, everything will be called the data. Okay everyone, so suppose you are going to the watching this video also, this one will be also called one data. If you are going to the listening musics, you are going to the you are going to the search on Google, whatever, all these characters will be called the data. Everything whatever we are going to the see, observe by the sensible parts of our body, all these things will be called the data. And what is the meaning of the base? Base is nothing. Base is a root. Base is a directory root, you can say. In our system we have the directory root, that is a hard disk will be there. Okay everyone, so we have to the divide into different parts, and then we are going to the store the data there. Okay, so here also we are going to the also discussing about that what is the database. So base of the data will be called the database. Okay everyone, means I want to say you that database is what? Base of the data, where we are going to the storing the data in a lot of amount. That point will be called the database. That base will be called the database, because there we are going to the store the data at a one point, at a one root, at a one source. That source will be called the database. Okay everyone, so I hope that we have to the understand about the point of the database. And after all these things, we have to the see that what is the meaning of the database. So after that, the second point is going to this we should have to the understand that what is the advantages of the database, means why we are going to the use, why we are going to the elaborating, why we are going to the discussing about the database. What is the real life scenario, means what is the real life using of the database. Okay, so in IT related field, we can see in the systems we have the database, because if you have no any database, then we can't store the data, because base should have the in our system to store the any data. Maybe your data will be picture, maybe your data will be video, or anything else their part may be there. Okay, so whatever we are going to the store in our disk, that is a base there, database will be called. Okay, so why we are going to the use, we should have to the know. So we can say the first advantages of the database, that Without database we can't store any type of data, so we are going to the using the database in our system. Without a database we can't store any types of the data, maybe your data will be video or anything. Okay everyone, so I have to just say to you everything about the what is the database, and after that I have to just say one point about the advantage, and second point is what advantage in advantage. So database is why we are going to the creating, we should have to the understand it, then we can find out the meaning that advantages of the database. So main reason is here that if we have one source, means if we have one destination, okay, where we have to the we want to the go where we are going, where we want to go there, okay. So that time what will be happen, means I want to say you that first of all we should have one base, okay. So in the database we have to the store the a lot of data amount, in a huge amount of data. At that time we are going to the searching. At that time how can we search all these things? With the help of the searching box, okay. But where is it existing? Inside the database, inside the root directory, that is the database you can see also, okay. So we have the mainly we have the maybe your now this time in our systems different database will be there. Maybe your database will be one ssd maybe, okay. Maybe your uh, database will be hard disk, okay. But where we are going to the storing the all this data inside that, okay everyone. So I am just going to the say to you that why we are going to the storing the data in there, because of the searching. Because if we have no any space to store that any file, any types of the file or anything data, then how can you store the data? So first of all we should have to the one, okay. So I have to the already discussed about. And then for the searching easy for we have to the create one root directory, and that is a database, and then we have to the store the values. For the searching easy, and first one was the because of the without the database we can't store any type of the data, okay everyone, in our system. So I have to the say to you 2 point of the advantages. And the database also providing one thing, that is a backups. If our data will be corrupted, then we have to the one thing, that is a maybe our chance that is providing one function that we can also recycle our data, okay. That is a database's advantages was there, and we have to the say to you about that, okay. So we should have to the understand that how is it working, means how can we create the database. But before that we are going to the discussing about the disadvantages of the database. But I think that we should have to the understand first of all that what is how can we create, and then in the last point of view we will discuss about the disadvantages of the database, okay everyone. Yes. So I want to say you something that the notes one thing that uh, when we are going to the installing any database in our system, at a time we have to the got it one uh, port number, you can say also driver will be there, okay. So with the help of that driver we are going to the storing all this data there, okay. Yes. So I want to say you that also one thing, that whenever we are going to the installing uh, newly operating system in our database, at a time what will be happen, all these things will be indexing, means all these, suppose we have the system file is 100 GB, okay, and our database size is the 500 GB, okay. So all these 100 GB files of the system file of the system, that is or maybe your system will be system operating system, maybe your linux, or maybe your windows or anything else their parts, blackberry or anything. So at that time what will happen, first of all when we are going to the installing newly uh, operating system in our system, at that time what will be happen, our files of the operating system will be indexing, all these files will be indexing. Means I want to say you that in our in our database there are a lot of the addresses is defining there. Means first, means when we have to the we are going to the creating any database, then we have to the we are going to the also defining one address there for every blocks, for every blocks. Okay, so for every blocks means every block is going to the defining the different address. Every blocks have the contents, every blocks contains a unique address. Okay, so whatever we are going to the store, that that will be a store in that and at that address. Okay, and then we can access that through that address. Okay everyone, so we have to just see that how to do that, how is it work. But I want to say you something that I have to the say to you that indexing will be first when we have to the firstly newly uh, installing any operating system in our system. So what is the meaning of the indexing all these things? So all these files will be indexing, means all these files will be going to the storing for the unique addresses at the unique addresses on the unique addresses. Okay, so I have to just say to you that all these things will be indexing, and then all these threads will be works easily. Threads means what? Functions, whatever we are going to the use in our system with the help of the operating system will be there. Okay everyone, so I have to the say to you that how is it indexing, and I am just going to the say to you that how to build, how to create any database. Okay everyone, so first of all we should have to the understand that what is the logic gates and what is the flip flop and the latches, and then we can create the database. Okay, so what is the logic gates? A gate, similar, it is also similar as the gates where we are going to the passing the 0 1, that is a signals, and then that one is also producing one signal. Means if we are going to the passing one any gate, okay, so at that time we are going to the entering on the at that in that gate, and then we have to the pass out that gate. So I want to say you that if we are going to the see also same as the in our logic gates, that logic gates is what? Logic gate is nothing but it is same as the gates where we are going to the passing the signals as a 0 1 form, and this one is also producing the 0 1 output, that is a signal. Okay everyone, so that is the meaning of the logic gates. And the logic gates is how many types? Mainly three types of the logic gates: AND gate and NOT gate and the NOR, AND gate, OR gate and NOT gate. Okay, and NOR gate is going to the, you can say also that this one is also logic gates, but this is a derived logic gates, this is not the base logic gate. Okay everyone, so I have to just say to that about the logic gates, that gate where we have to the passing the signals, and then this one is going to the producing the output, the signal, that is the meaning of the logic gates, that is the same as the gates. Okay, so I'm just going to the I'm just going to the say to you something about the flip flops, that what is the meaning of the flip flops. Okay, so flip flop is what? Flip flop is nothing but this one is a collections of the combinations of the logic gates, and should have the one clock pulse. Means if you are going to the create any type of the flip flops, then we should have to the two things, that is a combinations of the logic gates, and second things will be the clock pulse. The clock pulse is what? So clock pulse is nothing but this one is also one signal, that is a indicate to the one, that is a one means on. So clock pulse is mainly used to the for the on our flip flops. Okay, so if in our flip flop no any less, no any clock pulse, then we have to we can't say that that one is a flip flop. That time that one will be called the latches, because the latches is the combinations of the only and only the logic gates. There is no any type of the clock pulse, but in the flip flops we have the clock pulse. Okay, So I have to say to you about that how is it working, means how to create any flip-flops. And then I'm just going to the say to you that combinations of the flip-flop will be called the mini database, and then mini database will be create one database, you can also say. Okay, so after the set to that what is the flip-flop, and then the combinations of the flip-flop will be called the database. Okay everyone, so I have to the set to that how to create the database. And then after all these things I'm just going to the set you that where we can see all these things in the practical zones. So let's go and open your system, and then we are going to the go to the PC, this PC. And then we have to the you can see the drive was there, drive will be there, the C drive, D drive, E drive will may be there, or maybe only one drive may be there. Okay, so that drive is a database, that drive will be called the database, that drive will be called the root directory, because directory means what, root. But directory means what, folder, and folder it's but there is a, that one is a view of the point will be changed, then we can also that is a folder, but we have to just say that that one is a root directory, that is a drive, that is a database. Okay everyone, so we have to just set you that. And inside any database we are going to the creating a different types of the folders, and then inside that folder we are going to the creating the different files, and then inside files we are going to the contains any types of the data. Yes, so I have to the set you that how can we understand about all these things. Okay, so up to the say to that where we can see all these directory. Okay, so after all these things we should have to the understand that we have to the pointed out that what is the database, why is it necessary in our life, and how is it working, how to create. And then we are going to the discussing about that. In the last point we can also say that where we can see all these things we have to the see. Okay, and now this time we are going to the discuss about that what is the disadvantages of the database. So in a different view you can we can say that there are so many types of the disadvantages also. Okay, so I have one thing that if I'm just going to the say to you that database have also the disadvantages, some disadvantages. First disadvantages is what, that so now this time we are going to the discussing about the disadvantages of the database. So first point is going to the pointed out that database have the limitations, means if in our system have to the installed by the 500 GB of the SSD, that is the database you can see, then we can't store the more than the 500 GB data there. Okay, so this one is the limitations of the databases will be there, because the this one is the compulsory also, because this one is the hard disk is a one physical component of the system, that one is not the virtually that we can also create again and again. Okay, so this one is the limitation we can also say. And the second limitation you can say that maybe the data will be corrupted from the malwares. I want to say you something that maybe the chances of the data corruptions, means suppose we are going to the using your system, at that time what will happen, malware may become in our system, visit in our system, at that time maybe our important data will be corrupted. I have to also see. Okay, so that is the disadvantages, because this one have to the so they have to the self protections, and then that one will be perfect. You can also see, you can also say. Okay, Yes, so I have to the set you in the different two view, in the different two views, that what is the disadvantages of the database. Okay everyone, so after the disadvantages, I'm just going to the elaborating about the all these things, that I have to just say to you that what is a database. Database is nothing but that is a base of the data base of the data, where we are going to the storing the data. Maybe form will be of your data, maybe video, maybe your photo, maybe your songs, maybe your anything, maybe any types of the files. All these things will be stored inside any root directory. Okay, yes, so I have to just say to you about that, and then I have to just say to you that advantages. So first advantages was there, that with the help of the database we can store the data easily. Without database we can't store any types of the data. And second point was that there, that for the searching easy, we are going to the storing in a root directory, that is a database. Okay everyone, maybe your database numbers will be different, means maybe in your database the different parts. I have to just not say to you that we can break the database. So I'm just elaborating about that. Okay everyone, so we have one function to break the database into the different parts, that is called the fragmentation. So what is the fragmentation is nothing but that one is a method which is mainly used to fragment of our database. Why we are going to fragment the database? Because of the protecting our, means if you are going to the fragment our database at a time, we can easily store the different types of the data in the different database. Mainly we have the, maybe your database will be one or two, or how much will be slot will be in our system. Okay, but I want to say you that suppose we have the one 500 GB SSD or hard disk,